Howdy, howdy, folks. gmmoley here. This was going to be a more involved thing, but my editing skills are still shit. So I have, I have roped in a long-suffering comrade of mine, the Shropshire DM, to do a quick and dirty one. Because we're quick and dirty. Yeah.
And the coffee elbow.
Hey, have a banana. Yeah, to do this, and then next time Nostalgia Trippers goes live, it will be the real one. I promise you, honest governor. Shut up, you! Shut up, you! So yeah, I mean, how long have we known each other for now? Like,
when was Iacon Apocalypse? Because that's the first time we spoke.
09, 011?
No, it's got to be late. Oh, no, it might be.
I think it's 11.
It's got to be. Or
So it's been like 10 years.
2012?
No, because I always run on odd-numbered years. 2005, 2007, 2009, 2011.
Got to have been 2011 then.
Yeah. Yeah, because I Revolution was 2009, yeah. So
yeah.
We've known each other for about a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Joel is, well, if you ever watch my Twitch channel, which is no longer really a thing anymore because I've officially withdrawn from the Twitch affiliate agreement.
Mine still is.
Yeah, yours is, yeah, the Shropshire DM. There's a Shropshire DM. You should go watch him. When do you stream normally again? When's your...
Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, British evening time.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll get into spamming stuff later on. But yeah, yeah. So we've known each other for a while. We've worked together in a professional capacity for a while, and yeah, he is usually my other GM when we're running stuff at live events and stuff like that, like UK Board Games Expo, where we ran how many games? Didn't we make up a full half of the role-playing calendar?
Not quite that much, because there were a lot of people who were just running maybe a couple of games.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
We ran like 21 games or something, didn't we?
Between the two of us, I think nearer 23.
I mean, I know that statistically, we were the most successful GMs because we had almost all of our games filled. I think you had all of your games filled, didn't you?
Not quite, no.
I think it was. Oh no, it was. I think we both had a morning one that didn't fill, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest were all basically full.
Yeah. So yeah, like we both do pro GMing and have strong opinions about many things. Not necessarily useful things, but strong opinions about things. But yes. So this is Nostalgia Trippers. This is where I talk to someone I know about nostalgia, about positive memories of gaming stuff, because there's too much fucking negative stuff out there. Yeah, so that's the plan. We're going to chat for a bit about wonderful moments in gaming that Joel's experienced, and I will no doubt chime in with random segues and anecdotes to fill in time. Yeah, that's about it. When I say gaming, by the way, I mean anything. Video games, board games, card games, LARP, anything games related, okay? Even sports, not that you have ever done a sport.
Yeah, the only sport I've gotten into recently is the Marble Olympics.
I thought you were about to say the only sport that you've gotten into is cake.
Is mayonnaise an instrument? So cake is sport.
Yeah, if so, cake is. Oh. Okay, well, yeah. I wonder if you could build... I don't know if you. I don't know why, but for some reason I have visions of a mayonnaise jar that's got a handle on the bottom and it's also a hurdy-gurdy.
The world's most oily hurdy-gurdy. An oily-gurdy, if you will.
Oily-gurdy.
Or an eggy-gurdy.
Yeah.
Oh, we're off to a good start.
Yeah. Okay, so First question. What is your earliest happy gaming memory?
I had to think about this one because I had to go back slightly further than the one I'd normally sort of go to. I remember my dad taking me over to a friend of his place, and they were talking work because they're both handymen. And his mate basically said to me, "Come and look at this. dumped me in front of an old CRT monitor with your classic cream plastic computer along by the side of it, and sat me down to play Lemmings for what must have been an hour or so, maybe longer. I don't know. I kind of blanked out the rest of the world. I had these great, and it was the old style Lemmings where you could count the number of pixels with your hands.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing. I sucked at it, but I had so much fun just making all the Lemmings just do stuff. It was great. I think I led to more of their deaths than the level itself did.
Yeah. Fun fact about Lemmings. Do you know why Lemmings look like they do?
Go on.
So someone said to the designer of Lemmings, basically, you cannot design you cannot put like character into a sprite which has got less than, a couple of hundred pixels. And he was like, hold my beer. Yeah. And so the Lemmings are meant to be as simplistic as possible, yet still readable.
I look back at that and I'm still amazed at how full of life they were.
Well, I mean, their hair is like 5-6 pixels, and the only animation is that 1 pixel that flicks back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's incredible.
It's genuinely staggering stuff. And I look, Lemmings now and Worms now, because obviously same company. And it's astounding to think that the same gameplay that fascinated me when I was, I don't know, maybe 6?
Yeah.
Is still just so captivating now. And still profitable as well.
Oh, yeah.
It does still make money. Yeah, capitalizing on people like me who think, I remember Lemmings. Yeah, sure.
You mean using nostalgia as a way of making content? No.
Yeah. What kind of callous individual?
Yeah, I know, right? So, right, like, what was, in which case, going back, casting your mind back into the dawn of time, what was your first, favourite game? What was the first game that really, really grabbed you by the bojangles?
Kind of see a little white oblong behind me over my shoulder. That is maybe my 5th copy of Heroes of Might and Magic 3.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah. The most unbalanced RTS ever. Not RTS, TBS. I loved it. That, it got me into fantasy. I didn't realize it at the time, but it firmly opened up the door for Dungeons and Dragons for me. And the day I found out that it had a map editor, I stopped playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, because you are Mr. Infinite Lego in Minecraft, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm less bothered about creepers and zombies and crafting tables and stuff. Just give me the pretty colours, I will make.
Yeah, I tried to play Survival on the realm that we are both members on.
Yeah.
And no one goes to sleep, so I was constantly being chased by phantoms, and no one kills any mobs. So I would be like, I'm minding my little thing. That's a lot of creepers. Oh,
That's
Lord.
A lot of creepers. Because, we were having fun building insanely large.
And then they'd fly over and just look down on me like some kind of uncaring god. Oh, look, a paw. Look at him toil.
Well, haven't you done well with your shovel and your pick? And anyway. But yeah, I did much the same thing in Heroes. I've yet to find a level designer where you can just grab it and go to the same degree. They're easy enough.
Yeah.
There's a reason why modern communities are so rich and wonderful. But that was the earliest one I ever discovered, and I picked it up. I was away. Yeah. I had a brilliant time, and I started writing games at that point. I started designing stories. I started building up my own sort of worlds and comprehensive structures within them. That was easily the first favorite game, and I still occasionally pick it up and play.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. You nerd. Right then, so question number. What was your proudest gaming memory? When's the moment you stood on top of the hill and were like, yes?
This is a much harder one for me
Because
because,
you're incapable of feeling pride.
yeah, I'm too self-defeating.
Mm.
No, it's probably going to be something D&D related,
Mm.
and it's going to be the first day I realized actually this ridiculous idea I have of making money at this thing can actually work for
Mm-hmm.
me. Like, people actually want to give me money. Or it was the day that I tried replaying the first scenario I ever ran for a whole new group with 10 extra years of experience under my belt.
Mm.
And I realized this is how much I've improved.
Yeah.
This is the measuring stick for me.
Yeah.
I've changed. I have gotten better because of playing this game obsessively.
Yeah, I mean, that is always one nice thing. Like, this is a bit of advice to anyone who's trying to improve. Don't compare yourself to yesterday or last week. Compare yourself,
10 years ago.
yeah, as far back as you can. Because the thing is like, gains are incrementally tiny. But if you stack that up over like 10 years for yourself or whatever, yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
I ran a game where the group had to save a man from being hanged, and none of them had any idea that the others were all working to the exact same goal. So
Mm.
each one was individually pursuing their goal without working together, without knowing that they had allies in the field.
Mm.
And at the time, it was just, here is a town square.
Yeah.
Here are some of the shops nearby. Here is where the gallows is. Here are the people on the gallows. Here is the crowd. Go.
Mm.
That has developed into a timeline, a description of every building nearby, what's inside the buildings, who these people are, what their motivations are. And yeah, okay, I'm not front loading any of that information straight into the players, but it's all
It's in there.
working, and it's a much richer experience and far more entertaining, I have to say now.
But then again, have you seen some of the old first ed or proto first ed?
Yeah.
And they're just like room with vampire.
Yeah.
That's it. And like,
there's no explanation for it.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the core of good RPG is it's not the fantasy heartbreaker. The annoying thing is I cleared my room. I'm actually doing some sorting right now, so I don't have all of my props to grab.
Yeah.
But it's not the fantasy heartbreaker, 400 pages detailing a city.
Yeah.
It's, like you say, there is a square, there are some shops, there is a crowd, there is a gallows. Go fucking nuts. And yeah, I mean, it is really good to hear that you went back and noticed that improvement,
Yeah. And because, like, the people who I played with originally, knowing full well that I'd never DM'd before in my life,
yeah,
they said to me afterwards what a great time they had. So that session always stuck with me. That idea always stuck with me. So it was easy enough for me to go back and think, right, I did this and it worked. Why did it work? Why can it work better now?
Yeah, I can remember my first real adventure that I felt like it worked was Shadowrun, of all things, Shadowrun 2nd edition, and it was there was a courier with a data disk, and the players need to stop him,
and
get the data disk, but the twist was that the disk was blank. He actually had storage in his head that he downloaded the disk to. So they got the disc, and then let him go, and then realised when they checked the disc there was no data on it, so they then had to recatch the courier. And I mean, we were all like fucking 11, 12 years old, and my friends were just like, oh, the double cross! And I was like, shit, there's something here, like...
Wish I'd got into tabletop RPGs when I was that old. I really do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've played them basically my entire life, thanks to my cousin. But yeah, this is not about me. This is about you. This is about you. Right. So, here's an easy one. What friends have you made through gaming?
Literally all of them. I don't have friends anymore that I haven't met through gaming in some capacity or another. Okay, then in many cases it's we met at a place like university or an anime convention or somewhere else, and they're now gaming friends.
Yeah, but we stayed in contact because of gaming.
Because of gaming, and that's the difference. The people who I don't tend to talk to are the people who I have not really gamed with around or talked extensively about gaming to. That's the long and short of it. I don't really talk about anything else anymore.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because like I I have I mean I have a very wide net of people I know, but I have found that when you game with people, you get to know them in a different way.
Bonds are so much more intense. Like the ability to have an argument with somebody, like a genuine, passionate argument with somebody, and then restart the game and say, right, should we play again? And that is a mature and healthy way of establishing and maintaining a long-term friendship. I love films.
Yeah.
I don't get that kind of bond with people who I talk about films to. I like anime enough, but like not enough to like find and bond with people over it.
I had a funny one where one of my many jobs I've worked, it was an office job, and we had a like a hobby night where the idea was that like every I think it was once a month, a department in the company nominated someone to show off their hobby, and everyone would do a bit of it. So like one month it was cross stitch, and another month it was and so I got shanghaied because I was the newest guy in the IT department. So I chose board games, and I ran Mafia, werewolves, you know, because it's easy. And one of the bosses turned to someone who had pretty spectacularly lied his way out, and he was like, "I knew you were a prick." And it's like, yes, you have seen the darker underbelly of your co-workers. Enjoy, my friends. Yeah.
So, I've done the same at workplaces. I think I exposed several people who I work with at a major electrical retailer to Dungeons and Dragons, and most of them do now still play, or at least keep saying, we ought to get a game in at some point. Yeah. It's been a while since we played. We really should get a game in at some point. When are you free?
Yeah. And they're all looking at you, and you're like, oh no. Yeah.
No, I'm more.
Yeah, true. Now I was tempted to ask you question 7, which is what would your perfect game be like? But we don't have long enough.
No.
You absolute reprobate nerd.
I studied game design, and then I went home and did it better.
Yeah. So next question is there anything you want to say to people about gaming that you think is important? Like your kind of philosophy that you think is important towards gaming?
Because games are so heavily based, and mostly I'm thinking sort of board games here, but video games as well a lot, because they are striving more and more to emulate reality in a controllable and fun and entertaining way. There's very few things in life that you can't mentally parallel with board games, and if that helps you function as a normal human being out in the real world,
normal people
in the real world, in the real world, whatever that used to be, then great. It's no substitute for therapy, but in terms of an off-the-shelf substitute, then yeah, it's the difference between buying cold meds from off the shelf at a supermarket and actually going to a doctor because you haven't been able to breathe through your nose for 6 months.
Yeah, I get you. Okay. No, I mean, I know we both are very big fans of like working outreach, I suppose. I know you do a lot more stuff with younger gamers. I have done in the past, but I hate children, so
I caught lucky with the group of kids that I run games for.
Yeah. And I know you've got one that he's fairly on spectrum, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you've been doing some good stuff with him, haven't you?
It's been really, really great watching some of these kids actually come out of their shells. Some of them aren't even on the spectrum. They just need somebody to give them a voice. And even if that voice isn't their own, brilliant, excellent. Then, you're exploring a world through your own eyes.
Mm.
And it really does help these kids sort of go from, they'll go from really quiet 1 week to 2-3 months down the line. They're the ones you can't shut up. And
But,
learning to balance between the two has been really enjoyable experience.
I mean, I suppose that's like you were saying, it's safe.
Yeah.
Like, if you are the kind of shitlord that tries to ruin games for other people, you should have your arms broken, to be blunt. Because, like, yeah, there's a lot of people who are struggling. And if games help, I mean, if something helps you, like, don't be such a dour bastard about it. Like, yeah, it's mad when, like I was saying to someone about one of the UKBGE games that I ran. Someone's daughter was in the game, and my pre-gen 5e characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she got Shoran, so she was the leader of the group. And there's nothing funnier than a genocidal 6-year-old running like. Yeah, it was brilliant. Or the other one of the stickers I used to give out when people. Do you remember when we used to run games in person? We could give out stickers.
I remember physical objects that you could put in the hands of other people.
Yeah. I can remember sneezing at a D&D table over the map, and people just being like, "Dude, that's a bit gross," rather than having to have me killed. So I'd given out my stickers, and she was playing with her sister, and she had the choice of she could try and pull her sister's character up, but she might fail and get dragged down, or she could let her sister go. And she was umming and ahhing about it, and the sister was obviously trying to lay on the guilt. And I was I just said, "I'll give you another sticker if you let her go," and she just went. Killed her sister for a sticker. Oh yeah. But yeah, right. Let's do the last question. What game are you enjoying at the moment? Because I'm not going to ask what's your favourite game. Because no,
don't have time for that question either.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm hopping between Borderlands 3, which is such a wonderful game with such awful writing. Like, don't get me wrong, the series has never been the paragon of well-written games, but at least Borderlands 2, there was real richness and depth to the characters, and even in the sequel, which I didn't enjoy that much, you felt like your character was part of the story. You felt like you were actually being spoken to. You weren't just another pair of shoes to fill.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun. It's so fluid and bouncy and ridiculous, and it's gun collecting nonsense. It's beautiful, just very badly written. And I've just gotten into Baldur's Gate 3. I've just picked up that. I've sort of hit the first proper settlement, and it has, I've got to say, the absolute best. Like, if you were to make a template for how to start a D&D campaign and say, you require these things.
Yeah.
It would fill every box. A+, 10 out of 10, job well done.
Okay.
Immediate stakes that are personal, far-reaching, and could apply to anybody, anywhere, at any time. And you want to be involved. The characters are brilliant. Genuinely in love with that game. And I've played maybe 2 hours.
Awesome.
Like, I've done so many times.
Well, that FPS, that retro revival FPS, Hrot, the one I've been banging on about for fucking months. It finally came out yesterday, and I finally got to play it. And it was a tenner for episode 1. I'm so happy with it. Oh my god, it is. I've gotten to the point where things are getting kind of what the fucky, and I met like the first monstrous enemy. And I'm not gonna lie, considering that this enemy probably has 9 fucking polygons, and the shonkiest pixel mapped texturing, I was like, that's a fresh pile of what the fuck, and closed the door to the room they were in and was like, nope, not going in that room. And then it's like, no, you have to go through that room to get the key, and I was like, okie dokie, guess I'm going to use the rocket launcher.
I was looking forward to a game that was advertised like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Very HR Geigerish, sort of leaning into everything is organic, everything is sort of glistening and pussy and fluidy. And the more that has come out about that game, the less like gross and otherworldly it's starting to look. It's now just looking like somebody made Doom look bland and a little bit like a bad sex dream.
Yeah. But
Whereas,
it's like Alien Resurrection. You know, a lot of people disliked Alien Resurrection because it took that Geiger-esque stuff and then was like, but what if it was wet? Wet. Wet. Glistening. It must be glistening.
There's another one in production now called Ill, which looks kind of like somebody turned The Hills Have Eyes into a survival horror. And that is so much more human and real, and at the same time, deeply gross and unnerving. And I'm way more interested now to see where that goes, design-wise, than I am in whatever the name of the other one was, because I've already forgotten, which is how much I...
No, I get you. Okay, that's cool. Right, and now it is the end of the show, so it is time for that all-important pimping of things. Go, explain.
Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and another thing which I've already forgotten.
Instagram?
YouTube at some point. All of that, /Shropshire DM, come listen to me talk about D&D stuff. And hey, maybe you'll learn a thing or two about D&D and life.
Yeah, he is an unkept white guy wearing glasses, so you know he has strong opinions about things.
Dungeons and Dragons,
yeah. So how is that gate you're keeping? Have you polished it? Have you know... I replaced the hinges on mine so it no longer creaks.
I occasionally will go on rants about how I'm trying to keep a foot in that gate and saying to other people, come through the door. I need more ideas to steal. So you're coming in.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of talking to myself in here. I need ideas so that I sound original.
Yeah. Are you going to keep me out because I'm gay? No, I'm going to keep you out because you don't have any good ideas. That guy, however, come on in. Yeah, I'll let your husband in. You stay outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gatekeeping, or I'm unkeeping the gate in the most selfish possible way. I want new voices and original perspectives in the field, so that I can rip them off as hard as possible.
Exactly, because you will have had experiences I cannot possibly fathom until I've read about them and realised how to gamify them. Exactly, yep. Yeah, it's not appropriation, it's a homage. Oh, that's going to get taken out of context.
Oh, so badly. Yeah. So bad. Yes.
Yes. Well, as people know, because they're watching the channel, you can find me everywhere as gmmoley. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon. Support my Patreon. Help feed my fat cat. Please help feed my fat cat. He is so chunky. He requires so much food. He is ruining us. And you've met my fat cat, haven't you?
Not in person.
Oh, no, because it was, because the timing didn't work out at Insomnia for you to be able to meet him, did it?
No, it didn't quite.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I am as familiar as anybody else who's watched your content is with your fat cat.
Yeah. He's a lovely chunky boy.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have no doubt we will collaborate again in the future. Thank you for bailing me out of this jam. And to the audience, keep having fun, keep being awesome, and look after yourselves. Bye-bye.
Nice night.
If you support my Patreon, you'll help feed my fat cat. This picture is of my fat cat. Support my Patreon. Help feed my fat cat.